Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Storytime Society. I'm your host Jamie and I'm so happy you're here. I'm so glad you're alive. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. The theme of this episode is the relationship advice subreddit and there's updates. Okay, let's get into it. The title of the first story is My 29 female ex-boyfriend, 32 male, moved out with his daughter, 6 female. I'm devastated and don't know what to do. I'm pretty sure I already know the answer to this question, but I'm wondering if anyone has been in a similar situation before and can give me any advice. Backstory, I met my ex 5 years ago when I was about 24 and he was 27. He was the single father to a 1-year-old daughter, Sarah. The mother of his child had passed away when she was only 3 months old. I was only 24 and weary about getting involved with a man with a kid, but we really clicked. As he was his daughter's primary caregiver, I met her pretty early on in our relationship. I never knew if I even wanted to have children, but Sarah really changed things for me. We eventually moved in together, and I have been helping raise Sarah since. My ex worked a lot, and I was still a student, so Sarah and I spent a lot of time together when she was young. Once I graduated, I was able to work remotely, so when Sarah is not in school, I'm typically the one taking care of her. We are incredibly close. Unfortunately, things began going south with my ex about 6 months ago. His work schedule is really hard on me, and I struggled with the amount of time that we are able to see each other. I know that sounds selfish. I think my nagging became too much for him, and over the course of 6 months, it feels like I really pushed him away. Over the weekend, he sat me down and told me that he's not in love with me anymore, and he doesn't think that he can continue our relationship. That is a whole other issue that I'm dealing with. I mean, we live together and raise a child together, and now everything is flipped upside down. As upset as I am about this breakup, my main concern is Sarah. I truly do consider her my child. I mean, I have been the closest thing to her mother for the last 5 years. She doesn't know anything but me. My heart physically hurts. I asked my ex what would happen with her, and said that he hopes I would still be a part of her life. And of course, I want that. I just don't even know how to go about it. How do you co-parent with your ex when you're not technically a parent? I guess my biggest concern is him moving away with her and me not having any rights, or him getting a new girlfriend and deciding it's easier without his ex being so close with his daughter. I am just stressed to the max right now, Reddit. I have to find a place to live and basically restructure my entire life, but all I can think about is being able to be in this little girl's life forever. Is there any way I can make that happen? Sorry for all of the rambling. Thanks for reading if you made it this far. Well, I would say that you should adopt her, so that you are considered the mother and then you have legal rights to her. Obviously, I'm not saying to adopt her and take her away from the dad, but I think that it would only be fair. I think that it would only be fair to you and the daughter. I think the daughter, that's the best thing for the daughter is to have you, since you have been her stable mother figure throughout her whole life. Everything she remembers about having a mother or having parents growing up is with you included. She was 1 year old. She was 1 years old when you came into their life. She doesn't remember anything before 1 years old, probably not even after 2 years after that, until she was 3 years old. So she surely thinks of you as her mother, I'm sure, while still, I don't know, she's 6, so she probably doesn't really think as much about her birth mother until she gets older, because I feel like 6-year-olds don't have that complex of thoughts. She's, okay, whatever. But yeah, that's really what I think. I think you deserve to have some type of legal document that says that you're the mother and that you adopted her, so that you have a right to see her and he can't just take her away. But I'm not sure how he would feel about that, because now you guys are breaking up. So, okay, 6 days later, there's an update. Hey guys, so I just wanted to update some of the people who commented and gave me some insight. All of your comments were really appreciated and definitely helped me think. So for the last week, my ex has been staying with my family when he's not at work, and we've been sharing time with Sarah. We met up this weekend to talk about everything in our life plan. He basically said that he does still love me, but that his schedule is just not something that can change for him anytime soon. I'm trying to be understanding and supportive because I do want to be with him and Sarah. We're going to look into counseling for us as a couple, and also family counseling for the 3 of us. I did bring up legal adoption of Sarah. I was shocked when he said he was thinking of the same thing. He said that no matter what happens with us as a couple, he always wants me to be a parental figure to Sarah. We had both hoped that someday I would adopt her. We just didn't see us breaking up or it becoming an issue. I'm so glad we're on the same page about that. I'm over the moon, and we're going to meet with a lawyer on Friday to get the ball rolling on that. I'm hoping that this relationship can be saved because I really do feel like I have a family with them. My number one priority throughout this has been Sarah, and I can't even explain how happy I am that I will get to legally be her parent. I know I won't ever be her mother, but I'm glad that we will be together no matter what. Thanks, Reddit. Sorry, this is kind of all over the place. We're still figuring everything out, but I wanted to update. I feel like you are her mother. Like, I don't think that, I think two things can be true at once in this situation. Like, you can honor her birth mother while also considering yourself a mother as well. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I don't think it's disrespectful of you to be like, I'm her mother. But she also has a birth mother that passed away, and like, you can honor her memory in that way because you do deserve to be that person for her. You've taken care of her, spent so much time with her, like loved and cared for her and given yourself to her so much, and you care about her so much. It's so obvious to see that. I'm really glad that he decided like he wants to work on things. I don't think that it's necessarily like you nagging about it. Like, I don't really think that's a nagging thing. I think that's just like normal to feel like if you're not with your partner and you barely get to see them, of course you're going to feel disconnected from them and you're going to wish that things could change. Like, that's totally normal. But let's see. Someone said, I want to give you a little bit of a reality check. This work schedule thing, being too busy and you nagging him, is an excuse. While it might be valid, he might be tired of your nagging. It sounds like the three of you have a family together. You're all but married in everything but name and legality. I've recently started working 7 days a week, 60 to 75 hours. It's necessary right now. My family wants to make a cross-country move, and I want to make sure that we have a massive cushion of finances to move on. I'm busy as hell, but I'd never divorce my wife because of it. He moved out. Either your nagging was off the charts annoying, or there's something else going on here. You might want to consider that before you devote a bunch of time in a relationship counseling trying to salvage this. P said, I do see where you're coming from. To shed a little bit more perspective on our relationship, since it was vague in both posts, my ex works in a field that has him out of town for anywhere between 3 days to 3 weeks a month. The traveling is also pretty random. He can find out he'll be gone for 3 weeks, less than a week in advance sometimes. He could change things or not go, but he is a people pleaser and he's good at what he does. So he goes, and I get lonely without him. I know that doesn't give me an excuse, but it's hard to be away from him so much. Maybe I'm too clingy. I don't know. When he is in town, he's working 10 to 14-hour days, and when he comes home, he's exhausted. Totally understandable. But when I only see him for an hour to eat and he's off to bed, it's like he's not even there. I love this man, and I could deal with this for a while, but not forever. He loves his job, though, and he doesn't see the schedule changing anytime soon. He says that he loves me too, and that he does want to make me a priority, but it's hard for him to. Moved out was extreme. He really just took some clothes and has been staying with family. We've been in touch, and I do believe he loves me, but he said that it got to a point where coming home didn't feel relaxing because I would either be trying to cram any activity I could into the small amount of time we had together, or I was moping because he was leaving again soon. All of that is true, and I want to work on it. It's just hard. That should literally be illegal to work that much. Not really, but like, obviously, because some people have to work more to get more money. But you should be getting paid a better salary. You shouldn't have to work 70 hours a week or 14-hour days. That's crazy. And it's so sad. It's so sad how people have to work so hard and so many hours and still not even like be able to survive. Like, if you're working 14-hour days, you should be a billionaire, in my opinion. You should be a billionaire. Like, sorry, that's literally inhumane. I don't understand how people do it. I would be dead. People are so strong. I'm like over here like, I'm so tired. I can't edit anymore. Like, girl, you barely have to do anything. Like, you sit on the couch and you tap, tap, tap on your computer all day long. Like, you're going to be okay. Meanwhile, people are out fucking in the field working 15 hours a day for 3 weeks straight, or like overnight shifts at the hospital for 12 hours. Like, I cannot believe that people do that. Like, they're superheroes. Seriously. Okay, the top comment says, I'm glad OP and her boyfriend and kid are doing well. As someone who also works from home, I'm busy as hell and wiped out by 4:30 p.m. I have the luxury of not having to commute, and I do appreciate that. But a lot of people seem to think that remote workers barely do anything and just mess around. I can't imagine having to do childcare on top of my job. Yeah, I was going to bring that up as well, because that's crazy. Because, like, when my brother, he's not my brother. When my boyfriend works from home, and he used to work from home, like, multiple days a week, but he doesn't anymore because companies are starting to change back to, like, working in office because they think that it's, like, better. But it's, like, that's so annoying to me. It's, like, if people are doing just as good of work outside of the office working from home, you should just make an exception, because some people, like, thrive working from home. Like, it should be a choice, in my opinion. It should be a choice. You should have autonomy of what you want to do. Like, if you feel like you want to work from home, you should be able to work from home. If you want to go in the office that day, you should go in the office that day. Like, I don't understand why stupid people that, like, whatever. Anyways, when my boyfriend works from home, he's literally locked in. He's locked in. Like, it's not like he's lollygagging, kicking his feet, wiping his ass, like, picking the dingleberries out of his ass. Like, he's fully clocked in the whole day. He's not just, like, giggling and gaggling everywhere. So it's really, the only difference is that he's at home in our office area. But, like, if he had to take care of a child, he would not be able to take care of a child. That child would be dead on the floor because he's fully working, and if he had to take care of a child, he would literally be, like, dying. He'd be so tired. He'd be scrambling. So I can't even imagine how much work that is. Like, for 3 weeks straight as well, while your boyfriend's out of town, you're taking care of this child on top of working a full-time job at home. That is such an annoying thing. It's like, people really do think that, oh, you work from home, like, that means you sleep all day and you log into your computer for 20 minutes and then log out. No, I work from home as well. Obviously, I don't work for anyone. I work for myself, but, like, I still do just as much stuff and work, like, a full day of work. Not a full day, I would say. I would say it's more like a part-time. Like, I'm usually doing 5 to 6 hours a day of work and 5 days a week. But I also have, like, a couple hours on the weekend that I have to do stuff as well. But yeah, and I don't get a steady paycheck that I can rely on. Like, I have to really put an effort to do that. I have been doing well with that, like, getting steady income, but it could change at any moment. Anyways,
if you want extra content weekly, head over to patreon.com/storytimesociety and become a member on there for extra content. Love you.
We're going to move on to the next story. And the title is, I, 24 female, am blind, and my boyfriend's friends talk inappropriately about me and joke about graping me. Trigger warnings, threats of grape and harm, verbal abuse, ableism, and possible essay. The formatting might be weird because I'm typing the whole text by myself and not using any speech-to-text functions. I'll try my best to avoid a wall of text. So, my boyfriend, 31 male, and I, 24 female, have been dating for 3 years now. We live in an apartment together, and we're having the wonderful luck, that's sarcasm, by the way, of having my boyfriend's 2 best friends, 32 male and 35 male, as our neighbors. They live right across from us, which is a huge issue because they come over literally every day, and it almost feels like I'm living in an apartment with 3 guys instead of just 1. Sometimes they come over when my boyfriend isn't even home and start engaging with me in the most random and weirdest conversations. And sometimes these conversations are really disgusting. Here's an example. A few days ago, I was at home and my boyfriend was at work. As always, 32 male and 35 male decided to come over without bothering to tell me beforehand that they were coming over. The conversation was really unsettling this time. They started talking about how easy it could be to grape me. Because according to them, they could just walk in pretending to be my boyfriend and I wouldn't even know that it was them. This freaked me out a little bit because this is my exact issue. Whenever the door to my apartment opens, I always assume that it's my boyfriend, but sometimes it's them instead. However, as soon as they open their stupid mouth, I know for sure that it's them and not my boyfriend. As if this whole I could grape you and you wouldn't know it's me thing wasn't enough, they said that if I got pregnant by one of them, I wouldn't know because I wouldn't be able to see that my child would look like one of them instead of my boyfriend. I just sat there and thought, what the F goes on in their brains? I'm used to people not knowing how to act in front of me because of my blindness, but my boyfriend's friends' conversations aren't just uncomfortable or awkward. They're terrifying. I don't think they would ever touch me against my will, but conversations like this are incredibly unsettling, and I wish that they would stop talking about me like that. I haven't told my boyfriend about this exact situation, but I told him that his friends make me uncomfortable. I'm afraid that my boyfriend won't believe me when I tell him about this conversation because it's just so absurd. I'm almost 100% sure that if I do tell my boyfriend about his friend's behavior towards me, it will result in a 1 versus 2 situation. His friends will most likely deny anything I say, and then it will be 2 statements, them against 1. Just for clarification, my boyfriend knows that his best friends come over even when he's not at home, but he doesn't see it as a problem. What should I do? I'd be thankful for any advice. These guys need to be arrested. First of all, ableist AF, saying that she's not gonna know, like as if you would just stay silent and then you guys would sleep together and then she'd be like, "Oh, you're not my boyfriend?" Like, I'm just actually so I cannot believe they say these things out loud. That is mind-boggling to me. Second of all, obviously don't joke about raping anyone. You're weird. You're weird. And you probably have. And you probably are a rapist. Like, genuinely, you're so scary. I hate these people. Please. If you really think your boyfriend won't believe you, that is a huge sign that you shouldn't be with him. If he's not going to believe you about that, that's disgusting. That's truly disgusting. You shouldn't need proof. Like, I was going to say you should record them, but like, you shouldn't need to. You shouldn't need proof. You should be able to tell him and he should believe you about that because that's insanity. And he should never speak to these guys again. And you need to like get a different lock. I don't know how they get in, but you need to like extra lock your door. Like, maybe have someone install one of those bolt chain locks so that they can't come over without asking you. That's wild that they do that. Edit, there are tons of people asking me how I was able to even type this even though I'm blind. I've explained it several times in the comments already, but people keep commenting about it and I'm getting tired of explaining the same thing over and over again. There's a YouTube video called How I Use Technology as a Blind Person by a woman called Molly Burke. Feel free to watch or listen to this video. Why are people asking that? Like, why do people think that this just means like because you're blind, you don't get to do any like regular things? Like, I don't understand. You're not allowed to use technology. You're not allowed to know how to type or like I don't understand. People are so stupid. Like, I don't know the specifics of how she does this, but I'm not going to question it and be like, how are you able to type this when you're blind? Like, that's so idiotic. I can't. Someone said, can you record that? Also, how do they get into the apartment? I think you can absolutely tell your boyfriend that you're not okay with them coming in when he's not around. OP said, I'll definitely record it next time. They have a key for the apartment, and we actually have one for their apartment as well. But it was supposed to be only used in emergency situations. Boo. Take the keys away from these lunatics. No. All right, let's see. There's an update. Before anyone asks again. Yes, blind people are able to use computers and phones. The amount of people that think I'm lying about being blind because I'm able to use a computer, a phone, and Reddit is sickening. If you're interested to see how blind people use technology, watch this video. A lot of people in the comments have pointed out the urgency of the situation and told me to immediately tell my boyfriend about his friend's behavior. My boyfriend came home around 5 hours after I made that post, and I was planning on telling him everything. But he was in an incredibly bad mood and just wanted to go to bed. So I didn't do it. To be honest, at this point, I still didn't fully realize the urgency of the situation, even though so many people pointed it out. The next day, my boyfriend went to work again, and I decided to wait for him at home because I didn't have the possibility to go anywhere else. But I contacted my parents and told them about my situation. That way, at least someone would know about me if something bad happened. This time, when male 32 and male 35 came into my apartment, the door was locked, they have a key. I wasn't just uncomfortable with them being there. I was, in fact, on the verge of having a panic attack. They must have noticed that because they did some disgusting things to me while behaving as if this whole thing was funny. They did not grape me, but what they did wasn't okay. I started screaming, which kind of scared off male 35 and male 32, and luckily an old elderly lady from the floor above heard me screaming. I swear this lady was my guardian angel. She didn't force me to explain anything and just took me to her apartment. She was comforting me for nearly 2 hours, during which I couldn't stop bawling my eyes out. Perhaps this is life's way of telling me to stop being so naive. My dad always told me, Vorschitz ist besser als Nachschicht. Guys, I don't know how to say that. It's like a German sentence, which means better safe than sorry. Oh my god, I wish I knew how to fucking pronounce that. Vorsic? Guys, I'm not even gonna try. From now on, I will definitely follow this advice. I will never wait for things to escalate like this again. When my boyfriend came home, I was finally able to tell him everything. I've never witnessed him being so angry. He genuinely thought that his friends were helping me out when he was at work, and he apologized for not taking me seriously when I told him that his friends make me uncomfortable. Of course, things couldn't just end there. My boyfriend was so angry that he decided to go over to his friend's apartment. There was lots of yelling, and it resulted in a physical fight. My boyfriend seems to have no injuries, though. Shortly after, my boyfriend took some time after work, packed our bags, and drove us to my parents' house. We're currently trying to find a new apartment, but it will take some time to find one that is suitable for a blind person. Thank you so much for all of the comments on my original post and all of the private messages. I couldn't answer all of them, but please know that I appreciate every single comment and message. Oh my God. Well, thank God for that elderly lady. Thank God you told your boyfriend. And I'm glad he believed you, because if he didn't, I would be genuinely so concerned about that. Oh, Lord, oh, Lord, oh, Lord. Someone said, never underestimate the power of old German ladies coming to the rescue. When I was a small child, I got locked out of my Opa's apartment, and his neighbor brought me into her apartment and fed me cookies until my mother came back. I remember your old posts, and I'm very glad you're all right. Please consider a police report on these men as well. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe people. And I cannot believe people are saying you're lying about being blind. Like, it's genuinely so. That's why, honestly, the longer I'm on the internet and the longer I'm like a creator on the internet, is like the less I'm taking comments, like insane comments or like hate comments, seriously. Like, every time I see a hate comment, I genuinely just detach, and I'm like, you're probably some weirdo. Like, you're just some weirdo if you're leaving a hate comment on someone's video or saying that this girl on Reddit is lying about being blind. Then you're a weirdo and you deserve to have internet access revoked because you're weird. Like, I just genuinely don't even view them as people anymore. I'm like, you're just literally a character. You're not even, there's no way you would say that to a blind person in real life. And if you would, then you're even more weird. Like, ew. The top comment says, I'm just so thankful that OP's boyfriend didn't brush it off or side with his friends. It was already really hard for her, but this could have gone so much worse. Yeah, I sort of expected him to, since that's how so many of these updates go. I'm glad he did the right thing in the end. Someone said, in the end, he did the right thing as soon as he knew that there was an issue. But I wish that she was more comfortable telling him and like would have immediately been like, you know, because if something like that happened to me, I don't know, maybe it's like more of a she's not comfortable, but I feel like it makes me a little bit worried for her being in a relationship with this guy if she was like uncomfortable telling him, or even like uncomfortable talking to him about it when like he's in a bad mood. It wouldn't matter what kind of mood my boyfriend was in. If this kind of stuff was happening to me and being done by his friends, I would tell him immediately. Like, And I would know that he would put this situation as top priority. He'd be pissed off, and it would just totally, like, it would trump everything else that was happening. All right, the title of the next story is I, female 28, found a child's shirt in the belongings of my fiancé, male 33. I'm sorry if this is long and all over the place. I met my fiancé when we dated as kids in middle school. We reconnected about 2 years ago after living separately and meshed so well that we decided to just take the jump. His family lives in Texas. We originally lived in Minnesota, with his mother not doing well, so we moved down here to just be close. My fiancé has a 2-bedroom that he'd purchased when he first learned of his mother's condition. This was about a year ago. At first, after we realized that we wanted things long term, he would fly back and forth every couple weeks or so until I asked him to just stay with me. He had no intention of moving back, and it was kind of a you move here or we do long distance situation. He didn't explicitly tell me, but that is just what I gathered from our situation. After time of thinking, I quit my job and just moved on to be with him. I've been here officially for 40 days. That's just a bit of backstory. When looking for something in the garage last week, I found a pair of baby-sized Nike shoes. I asked him who they belonged to, and he said he had no idea. I thought nothing of it at the time and just tossed them. 2 days ago, when going through the hamper to do our laundry, I found a small pink bluey t-shirt, probably the size of a 5 or 6-year-old. I immediately remembered the shoes and my mind started to race. I admit, I assumed the worst, that he's hiding a kid from me, and blew up a bit, accused him of lying to me. I started to get emotional and things of that nature, and an argument ensued after I didn't believe him when he swore he had no idea where these things are coming from. He is an only child, so no nieces. The only family he really talks to here are his parents. He offered no explanation other than simply insisting that he has no idea. I pretty much shut down after realizing we were getting nowhere and have spoken maybe 10 words to him since then. He's not pushing me to either. Feels like I'm just here. Since yesterday, I'm just filled with despair and regret about moving here, and I'm not even sure I should be. I guess I'm just curious. How can I go about this? The mere thought of apologizing for my blow-up and trying to rectify things when he's secretly lying to me about something like that just makes my stomach churn. I don't at all hope or even want to believe that that's the case. He's never given me any reason to feel like this, but it just doesn't make any sense to me. You said that the first thing you thought was dramatic and you blew things out of proportion. The first thing that I thought was that he is a pedo. I don't know what that says. I think that says I always think the worst. But why is there random little kid stuff popping up in his belongings? Because that is so concerning to me. Like, you might want to look in his computer or something. I don't know. I'm scared of that. Someone said, this is so weird. It requires a weird solution. You've got nothing to compare his reaction to with respect to your findings. I think you should get a child's dress from a thrift store and bundle it into his washing, then announce it as a new find and ask him what's going on. If his reaction is any different to his previous reactions, you've got your comparison and can decide from there. Please note, I picked a girl item because I thought the other 2 items sounded like boy stuff. If he's equally nonchalant about it, then there's probably a sane reason somewhere. OP said, this is actually a good idea. I'd never thought of that myself. I may just consider it at this point. That's a good idea. That is a good idea, because then you can really tell, like, if he's like, what? This is not, then you can tell if that was like, okay, is this him? He sounds like he's being honest. And then he did not sound like he was being honest this time. Someone said, as someone else pointed out, there's no way you dated in middle school when he's 5 years older than you. He would have been 17 or 18, either in his senior year of high school or graduated early. If this is real, the whole thing with the baby shoes and shirt makes me think he's hiding a kid. She said, we were 12 and 16 when we met. I shouldn't have said dated, but when you're 12, what else do you call it? We were neighbors and liked each other. It was never nefarious. Didn't even care to give those comments a response. Honestly, I'm dealing with enough then to read I'm lying or my fiance preyed on me. You don't call it anything other than friends. A 16-year-old with any romantic interest in a 12-year-old is highly disturbing, especially in this scenario. I'm really concerned that you don't see that. You have unexplained children's clothing in your home with a partner that has a history of interest in children. I know it's hard to think of your partner that way, or yourself as a possible victim, but please think about yourself as a 16-year-old and whether you could have been sexually attracted to a 12-year-old. Oh. 12 and 16. So when you're 12, you're what, in 8th grade? And when you're 16, you're in like junior year of high school, right? 7th or 8th grade? And then junior year of high school? Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have I wouldn't have even, when I was 16, when I was a junior in high school, I was thinking, looking at the freshmen like they were little children. I was thinking of them like, you guys are literally 2 years old. Like, please, I'm scared. So I would never, ever try to talk. I didn't really even think about it like that, just because 12 and 16, like, when I look at it from like a 27-year-old perspective, it's like, oh, they're both like children. But I guess when you think of it as in like, you look at it from like a personal standpoint of like what I would have done as a 16-year-old, yeah, I would have looked at a 12-year-old like they were baby, like goo goo gaga. All right. Someone said, girl, the worst case scenario is that he's a child predator. A hidden child would actually be way better than that. I have some questions about him, especially when you say you met in middle school, but he's 5 years older than you. So you were in middle school and he was in high school, or what? He's already showed a preference for inappropriate relationships with minors in your own history. I think you need to start looking for more. Don't ignore those feelings of unease. Your gut is telling you something is wrong and you need to listen. Wait, also she replied to the comment I read before that, and she said, I'm only thinking of him that way because I know the real dynamic of how our relationship was. Even if I'm not articulating it correctly online in the heat of the moment, I appreciate your insight though. Thank you. And then she responded to this comment. She said, you're completely right, and I do appreciate the insight. But I shouldn't have said dated when it was really just a girl with a crush. We met as neighbors and hung out often. You'd likely perceive that as a relationship too as a 12-year-old girl. He didn't prey on me, and our relationship wasn't sexual. Just two kids who were close. Guess I should have clarified all of this. Editing to add, I was 12 and he was 16 when we met. His birthday was a few months after. He went to college the year after that, just for any further confusion. These people would hate to see me coming. It's not in that way. I just made myself sound really weird. I've already talked to you guys about me being a 13-year-old when I hooked up with a 27-year-old. I wouldn't even call it a hookup. Like, that's crazy. Like, I cannot believe that I did that. I can't believe he did that. I wish he probably is in jail now, honestly, if I think about it. That's crazy. And then my friends at the time, like, they were like 2 years older than me, and they literally were like dogging on me about it, like saying like, why would you do that? And I was like, what? When they should have been like, why the F did you do that as a 27-year-old hooking up with a 13-year-old? That's really fucking weird. And I've only realized that within the last few years. Like, I never really thought about it until I really like thought about it. And then I was like, I was 13. I was a actual baby. 13? I was like in 8th grade, I'm pretty sure. He was a 27-year-old, my age. Me. Imagine me hooking up with a 13-year-old. No, jail immediately. That like makes me so uncomfortable and sick to even think about. You're disgusting for that. Like, ew. And he was performing sexual acts on me. I did not perform on him. And he begged me to all night for like 5 hours straight. Like, fully begging, saying that he had blue balls and stuff. And I was like a 13-year-old. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't want to do that. I'd never done that before. And I didn't want to at that time either. Ew. I think he literally ended up, like, he was heavily trying to coerce me so much to the point that he left the room at one point and went and got like an ice pack to put on his balls, saying that he had such bad blue balls and that I was like torturing him. girl, are you okay? Like, you're not okay. I'm 13 years old. You're 27. You're a full-grown adult who should never be around a 13-year-old or anyone under the age of 18. Honestly, where is he now? I should look up his Facebook or something, because that's fucking terrifying. Okay, 5 days later update. Not sure I'm formatting this right, but just wanted to update for those still messaging me and commenting. This is probably anticlimactic for most of you, and in hindsight may be obvious, but please refrain from the negativity or I told you so's in the comments. Trust me, I've beaten myself up enough. Nothing can be said that I haven't thought to myself already. Someone here suggested I suggest getting cameras to him and gauge his reaction. Thank you so much. If you're reading, I lost you in the sea of comments, lol. He was very against it and jumped to the conclusion that I was trying to catch him in something, a reaction that took me by surprise. After that, I said, F it, and went through his phone, another popular suggestion, something neither of us had done since knowing each other, so I'd watched him put in the code from the corner of my eye and then went through it when he slept. Found a woman he's been calling/answering calls from while he's working maybe every other day. After my hands stopped shaking, I called from my phone and asked who she is. She asks me who I am, and I tell her I'm his fiancé. She tells me she's the mother of his kids and that he's a father of 2 boys and a girl, 10, 7, and 5-year-old. That they met in college and have been on and off since then, but they're currently just co-parenting. An obvious lie. She then tells me she was told about me and he'd said that I was pregnant and pretty much moved here at random against his will. That I was just crazy, one night stand while they were on a break and he was just trying to co-parent. Basically, playing this role of the heroic father to a fake baby, trying to do right. When in reality, he's just psychotic POS. She seemed to be more relieved that I wasn't pregnant than anything, but that's her issue. Told her about the shirt and she'd said her kids spent the weekend. Another lie, because no one has ever been here since I moved in. Didn't even seem to care. He hid his own children from a woman that he was going to marry. Anyway, he doesn't know, but I'm leaving. I'll be using my little savings to get home and stay at a motel until I'm on my feet again. Thankfully, when I left, my boss said that I was always welcome back. My flight is in 2 days. Also, probably shouldn't have, but I broke his phone too and said I accidentally spilled water on it because about an hour after I called the girl, she texted him, "Call me," and I panicked. I assume she plans to tell him that I even know, and I asked her not to. It hurts, and I've been evaluating everything thus far, every conversation we've had, every little piece that hasn't added up. One thing I will say, although he never begged me to move or anything, we did have numerous convos about the possibility, and a month before I moved here, he acted like he was so excited and sent me a bunch of job listings in the area. I definitely did not stalk him at all, but he clearly wants his baby mama if he's concocted this whole psycho fairy tale to sell her, so I'm honestly and truly done. Just trying to remain calm and sane until I'm up and out of his life for good. This whole time he hasn't even asked why I'm not talking to him either. Thankfully, I guess, because I wouldn't know what to say. And I know he's a garbage parasite. That just hurts me even more. It's like I really was just nothing this whole entire time. I uprooted my whole entire life literally for nothing more than a singular month of playing wife. Now to pick up the pieces and repair them all on my own. While his life stays unchanged and he's happy with his family. So yeah, this was probably more of an event, but at least you guys can stop wondering. This has all happened within the last 48 hours, so I'm still collecting myself emotionally. I do appreciate all the support and advice. And to any women currently feeling like something isn't adding up, please trust your gut the first time. Ignoring it will never work out in a favor in the relationship. So then where was he taking his kids if she thinks that they were going to his house? Like, that's what I'm a little confused about. Someone commented, "Whoa, OP, I'm so sorry. This is a lot." So they're not together as he lives separately. She says they're on a break, but he owns another property that he's currently living in. How far away do his kids live? She sounds like she's not entirely truthful as well. I wonder how long he thought that he could go on hiding them from you now that you're living together. OP said, thanks a lot. Yes, I get the feeling that she's lying as well, but that's their prerogative. Any woman okay with her kid's dad having a double life to this extent is probably crazy too. They deserve each other. And then someone said, but are they actually together anymore? They could really be broken up and she can't let go, but then it sounds like a super toxic relationship and I doubt you want to be anywhere near that dumpster fire. And I guess it doesn't matter, as he lied to you about having 3 kids. That's crazy to lie about having 3 kids. Honestly, OP said, honestly, I did consider this as a possibility, but I feel like it was just my mind trying to justify things, so I stay. My thoughts and emotions have been all over the place, but I'm sure the situation would just get worse over time. So what, does he not have any like social media or anything? He has 3 kids, but there's no proof of him on social media with 3 kids. Like, I know not everyone posts their kids for like safety reasons, but that's so wild to me that like you've also known him almost your entire life and you still didn't know about that. Like, that's wild. He must be crazy and want to hide like everything that he does so that he can do this kind of stuff. The top comment says, did he just think he was going to hide a secret family for years? And then someone said, yes, absolutely, 100%. That's what he thought he was going to do. Wild how people try to get away with it. Some do, I guess. Their stories are on this site. Someone said, my uncle did the same exact thing to his wife. He just one day blindsided her with the fact that he has 3 kids with another woman he's been seeing in the other side of town for 17 years. They've been married for 40 years with 7 kids. Some people are just like that. What? 40 years with 7 kids and he hid it for that long? Like, I can't. I actually cannot. This person said, my dad has 5 other children that we know of. The first is a couple of years older than my sister. She's 42. The youngest was born after my niece. 2 of the affair partners have been set up in different houses in gated communities. And then someone responded to that and said, see, here's my thing with that. How do these men afford that shit? Like, setting aside the insanity of juggling the time spent with each family, not getting names wrong and all that jazz, how does the money work? Right. Because how does that work? Especially, you're living in a gated community. Huh? It has to be so hard to get away with this stuff nowadays, though. Like, with electricity. Not electricity. With the internet. Not the electricity. I actually can't believe that. I just said that. I'm dead. Well, I wish so much bad karma on this man, and I hope this girl lives a very happy life and never gets together with someone like this again. But that's the end of that story, and that's the end of this episode. And I love you guys as always, and I'm gonna go film a couple more episodes so I can get on top of things before going out of town to New York. I'm going to an event. So excited, a little bit nervous. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you guys in the next episode. Bye!
Storytime Society is now available on all listening platforms. If you are on any of those listening platforms, I would really appreciate it if you rated me 5 stars. Thanks for all the support.
Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.